Listen, I'm gonna try to keep this under an hour, maybe 15, 20 minutes as you're seeing this or whatever, whatever. Um, Let me share this first. We'll come back with y'all. We'll chop it up. We'll talk to you about a couple of things. First thing I want to say is this before I do step off real quick. I was watching a particular vlogger today. Some of these vlogger dudes are funny, man. They are real, real funny. Outside, whatever happens, for some reason or another, they always got the contention to always kind of like feel like they got the conclusion of things, feel like they got the conclusion to the story, whatever the case may be, right? And I feel y'all. I mean, we all vloggers, right? But this one particular dude, he was funny because he was like, yeah, he was on this other, he was actually chiming in with this other vlogger. So I guess it was one vlogger chiming in with another vlogger, you feel me? And he was sitting back, he was like, yeah, and Gina, she should be ashamed of herself for saying that Puff was a changed man. Gina, and like he was talking like he had known both of them. Like, dog, cute, like respectfully, dog. Nah, fuck that, disrespectfully. You don't know Puff or her. I don't know her, but at least I can say I've been around Puff. You don't know Puff or her. You know what I mean? So it was kind of funny to me. You get a lot of these vloggers that are like that. They're just getting so desperate to try to keep themselves in the fray of things that it's just becoming ridiculous. Give me 1 second. Let me share this. I'm going to be right back with you guys. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I told y'all I'm having. What's going on, Heather? I'm sorry about that, y'all, but this is the way. All right, y'all. I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. Like I told y'all, I think I'm lying. I lost my old device, my real device, my S24. And so now I'm using my old phone. My old phone, for some reason or another, YouTube, these new updates that YouTube has done, it doesn't work consistently with the operating system. I can't upload the operating system no more. What's up, Fred? I can't update the operating system anymore. So every time that I share it, it crashes, and there's like this little process I got to do to bring it back up on screen or whatever. So when y'all think I'm Gen 9 here or whatever, just keep in mind I'm gonna always be here. It's just that I'm sharing it, trying to get it out. So, wow, there's a lot to talk about. But Mark, I'm glad you spoke. Glad you did. Well, John. Well done. Well done. Well done. If I do say so myself, huh? Well done. And he was over there at CBS News, and he was talking to, I think her name was Tanika, something like that. Tamika, maybe her name is. Squirrel with the short hair. I like her. I like her. I actually like her. I think she's a part of the ilk of, what's this woman's name? The Gail King. I think Gail King is put under the tutelage or whatever at one point or another, whatever. So I always admired how she did her story. She's very cautious. She's not very messy over there at CBS. So I know I was over here talking about CBS's Neeson ratings a little while ago, but Mark Agnifio sat down with her, and Mark, he divulged a couple things. There were a couple questions that were asked him. I can just speed through them. I don't need to play it. I'll do maybe another live later, and I'll play them. Like I said, I'm at press for time right now. I just did this to show love. This is the people that show me love, like the people that hit the like button. People put my cash app in. I do this for y'all. But Mark sat down and he was asked some powerful questions as far as the strategy, what type of strategy did they invoke and things like that or whatever. And Mark, he answered in a very Mark fashion, I guess, and said, well, I've always implied comedy into my shtick as far as a lawyer to some degree or another, and I found that it works for me just being natural and real with the people. And I remember down at that courthouse, because I was one of the people that were down there in person. I remember there was one particular person down there, and they were, well, it was a couple of them. I ain't going to say one. There was a couple of them. And they were sitting there and they were trying to push forth the effort and push forth the idea of this was going to happen with the jury, that was going to happen with the jury, this is how everything was going to turn out. He was going to get this much time. And every day they came out that courtroom, multiple ones, they would say, Diddy's done. Diddy's done. Diddy's done. He's going away for life. Diddy's done. Diddy's done. Then they get to the point where we're now at the day of, okay, what's it going to be? And the verdict. And a lot of people were very disappointed. A lot of them were very disappointed because of that. And so Mark, he saw the alternative which I always see, what I always stand by. Just be your fucking self. Fuck them. You know what I mean? And you'll find out in life that gets you a lot more further, opens up a lot more doors for you, and a lot of other things. And so, and if you need an example of that, every star that you've ever worshipped or at one time liked had one particular thing about them. I'm talking about the superstars, not the stars. The stars, they usually duplicate each other. You know, they borrow a little bit off this person, a little bit off this person. Trust me, I was in the music industry for 17 years. I've sold music on my own. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about I've sold my own music. You know, then you've got your superstars. Those are people like Michael Jackson, people like Dr. Dre, people like, you know, Snoop Dogg, people like Ice Cube, people like Jay. Feel how you want to feel about these people. They are intricate specks of no one can duplicate them. Kanye, nobody can duplicate them. 50 Cent, nobody can duplicate them. You can duplicate their energy, duplicate the way they look, but you can't duplicate them. Because they are examples of a stray of life experiences that can't be duplicated. They have to individually happen to you. They have to happen in succession that once you're born in front of somebody else that had that same thing happen to them in succession, which is unilateral in this stance. Pain. Pain. But a different type of pain. A type of pain whether a motherfucker turns around and ends up being the CEO and being on top of the world. The people from that same pain, they pick up on. And Mark Agnifio used that because he knew the beat and the heartbeat of being a trial lawyer for so long and a former prosecutor. He knew the beat of New York City people. And I said to all those people that were coming downstairs, I said, the main thing is the loudest voices, they're not from New York. So they don't get it. But people from New York, they get it. And I wish they would have louder voices. Because what they would find out real quick is that ain't how New York City jury think. And I said that 15 to 20 times. That ain't how New York City jury think. And I knew they didn't. You know what I mean? So for Mark Agnifio, he scored a win with that one. His strategy was, and this as not just the lead lawyer in the case, but like he said also in the CBS editorial, well, not editorial, but in the interview there, he said one of the things that stuck out the most poignant to me was he said, I was grouped with a team of lawyers that I did not know. And somehow or another, we all made it work out. You can say what you want to about Puff. And beforehand, I wouldn't have said this. But now we're after the case. You know, the only thing we're waiting for now is whatever the sentencing may be or whatever. And I don't want to implode that or, you know, anything like that or whatever. But, Mark, let me tell you something. There was a lot of people in that courtroom, and I know you can't do nothing about it. There was a lot of people down at that courthouse, and I know you can't do nothing about most of them. We're talking about the 4 that you can, though. And we'll get to y'all later. But, because everybody ain't going to be treated the same way. Long story short, and if you don't know what I mean by that, it'd be best for you to let it be like that. I'll say that much. It'd be best for you to leave it like that. It would be best for you to leave it like that. It'd be best for you to leave it like that. Because I'm probably one of the people that could be like, well, you know, this one is, yeah. Anyway, if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I don't care at this point. I really don't. Never trying to make people believe you. That's a waste of time. Anyway, Mark Agnifio said something else that stuck out strong to me, which was another strategy they were doing where Puff is asking for home confinement. And I think he should be awarded that. Regardless of how many of you women feel about Gina now that the ladies are turning on her. You were supposed to testify against him and you didn't. We don't even care if you're a victim anymore. You're a traitor to the sisterhood. You know. You're a traitor to the sisterhood. Sisterhood unite. That's not all females. No. That's a sisterhood. Sisterhood of traveling big backs, unattractive women and mostly mentally ill chicks who sometimes are pretty. Anyway, see, I can admit what's wrong with me. I've been through some shit. I can admit my shit. It's when you can't admit your shit and you're online and you're pretending and in the acting role, acting like you're somebody else and you really ain't that type of person. That's what bothers me. A lot of unaccomplished, uninformed, ill-gotten individuals online nowadays selling all kinds of porky pies and lies to the crowds to get a couple of dollars, don't you know? Meanwhile, I got 30,000 followers, and people come in my chat room daily and tell me, yo, you so real, you such the truth. And I ain't had a donation in 2 weeks. And what you gonna do? Anyway, Google, make sure y'all mess with me this month. I've already starting to see the difference. So, yeah. What's going on, B? What's going on? Y'all gonna stop that OG shit. I ain't no OG yet. OG around about 63. When I'm about 63, y'all call me OG. My father told me I don't even respect you. Excuse me, my uncle told me, he said, I don't even respect you as a man until you after 55 years old. For real. And it always stuck with me. My uncle said, I don't even respect you as a man. He was a very successful man, too. That's why it stuck with me. He said, I don't even respect you as a man until you after 55 years old. I can't. And he was around that age, he was about 63 at that time. So I'm still a kid by hindsight. But thank you nevertheless. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I like people to come in here with good vibes, good energy, or whatever. Pup has asked for home confinement. I'm going to read this off to y'all. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't want to talk too much. As far as Judge Samarinian is concerned, I think he's going to be a fair man. I think he's going to be a cool man. I don't think his interest is best written in, doing whatever. I think he's going to do what he feels is right by the public, and I'm glad that Mark brought that up. He said that he thought he was a threat to society based on the guidelines that he would have to use in bails. He didn't say that as far as sentencing. He said that as far as the bail was concerned. So let me read this for y'all, whatever, real quick, so in case y'all are not informed and don't know and all that stuff, I'm here to help you out. Because I'd rather tell the story than have half of these vloggers out here unchecked telling the story. Diddy will probably be sentenced to confinement for 1 to 3 years, and his lawyer may ask the judge to let him do the time at his home. Mark Agnifio, the lead lawyer on Diddy's legal team, tells us Diddy needs and wants therapy for both anger issues and substance abuse, but says prisons aren't equipped to provide optimum care for those areas. As Harvey Levin asked Mark Agnifio squarely, will he ask the judge to place his client on confinement rather than prison when he is sentenced? And he said that's on the table. Although Agnifio said asking for home confinement was a possibility, he went on to say he's already assembling a team outside to provide Diddy with professional help, adding that he would make therapy a condition for his supervised release. Diddy told Agnifio he's aware that he needs therapy and has lived with deficits all his adult life. Agnifio says Diddy vowed to make the most of his incarceration to address his deficits. So, they're going to ask for it. Whether or not they get it or not, I don't know. I can't really answer that. I think the only person that could answer that is Judge Samarinian and how Judge Samarinian feels. If you followed me earlier this week, I talked about it might have been Friday of last week, if I'm not sure, but it's still up. And Judge Samarinian's name is in the title when I did it. I didn't do it to come. A lot of people took it like, you coming at the judge. I said, no, that's not what I'm doing. And Judge Samarinian is Indian. Excuse me, I was going to say African. He's Indian by culture and heritage. His DNA strand, whatever you want to call it. He's Indian. I read about, I think it was like 4 different articles at the time, and it was talking about sexual assault in India. And this is Judge Samarinian, Diddy's judge's homeland. His parents are from there. He grew up in Pennsylvania, but this is where he's from. And I talked about the deficiencies that they have with women there even getting where you have these groups of women, like you would have here with the women's suffrage movement that started out with. Um, these groups were non-existent to fight these sexual assaults until almost like maybe 20 years ago in bulk, you know? And so it was sad because I could think, okay, what happened in the 80s? What happened in the 70s? What happened in the 90s? It must have been terrible for these women. These are real stories. And one of the stories that I read, because I got a good mind here. I don't need to look things up and regurgitate to them. I know. Um, One of the stories that grabbed me was a Brazilian couple. They were traveling through India, and this happened not too long ago. They were traveling through India, and this is not too far from where Judge Samarinian is originally from. In India, his parents, anyway, respectfully, his parents. He didn't grow up there. He grew up in Pennsylvania. He's an American guy. But his parents' homeland, and I'm sure he's visited this place, being this is his parents' homeland. Is that fun? Is that fair? And this Brazilian couple, they were going to Nepal. So that's where they were in a three between going to Nepal the next morning. So they stopped and they were hiking there. And so they stopped the camp for the night. Several men entered their tent. One of them held a weapon to the man's neck, while several other men took advantage of his Brazilian wife. And they made him watch. Now, I know that sounds like some real Indiana Jones, you know what I'm saying, Lost Temple of Doom type, cash stairs in the mountains, the JoJo's out of Star Wars or something like that, right out in the desert. But this really happened. And that's not the only one that's happened to. It's happened to several other people that have been traveling from international destinations in India. It's not the only case of that happening. And I said to myself, not to propose an argument, but this included in the conversation, I said, well, I wonder if Judge Samarinian has any type of advocacy on his own personal time going towards these things and these travesties that go on in his parents' country of origin and his DNA strand. And I'm sure that he's been there. He has to have visited. He's had to have family there. So I don't think that's an irrational question to ask. And I said, I wonder if he would take any of that in consideration when we're talking about the conversation. And I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. And so that's why I said when we're condemning Puff, we also have to remember ourselves. We also have to remember some of the women we know. Some of you girls know homegirls of y'all that have been trifling chicks their whole entire life. Chicks that have busted down. You're like, oh, here goes. How many of you girls out there got a girlfriend, right? And she always the one, I know this because I got sisters, so I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask y'all, see how many women are truthful. How many of y'all got that one girlfriend when y'all go to the club or whatever, and she always just seemed to do a little extra too much? And it always involved leaving with somebody. Ain't none of y'all got a girlfriend like that? Like that girlfriend, she always go to the club and she always, maybe not every weekend, but every other weekend, let's say once a month. She ended up leaving with a different dude, and you like, well, what happened to dude you was talking to? Oh, well, he be tripping. They make up an excuse for it, and then they start mess with the neck. But you watching a pattern, you be like, hold up, this chick been doing this for like 8 years. What do you say? Greco Ramon Jones. You get what I'm saying? Some of these chicks, they be doing shit like that, and I've watched them. If many of y'all know, I used to work for Bad Boy Entertainment for over 17 years. I worked in the early 2000s all the way up until almost 2016, going into 2017. I've been to clubs all across the country, resorts all across the country. I done show pictures of this a million times. If it's your first time here, trust me, it'll happen again. I show pictures and videos and stuff like that all the time. So there's no, you know what I mean? The thing I'm getting at is, in a lot of them clubs, especially in Miami, you don't believe me? Go ask Young Chopper. Yeah? Go ask Fred. Yeah? Fred, tell him what happened at Fountain Blue. What happened at Dream? Huh? Oh, we quiet now, huh? I hear you. Be having to shout out to my nephews sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Keep them straight, because this too shall pass. But anyway, like I was saying though, tell them, Fred. Tell them, Chopper. Next time you sit down with them, make sure you tell them what goes on in them clubs for them people that don't know. In New York City, when I was coming up, especially in the beginning when I was coming up in the music industry, we used to have a set of clubs. Many people remember this. We used to have one place called Limelight. There was another one called Speed. There was Exit. There was a Tunnel. And then there was, what was the other one? It was one of them I left out. One of them was a church. I think that was Limelight. That was the one down there in the 20s, because both of them were in the 20s. Limelight was in the 20s, and Speed was Speed was up in the 30s, because it was like a couple blocks down from Bryant Park, I think, if memory serves me right. But anyway, long story short, these clubs were off the hook, and they were owned by this dude named Peter Gatian. He was a Canadian fella, and he had came to New York back in the 80s. He had ran some clubs back then. And one of the particular things that stuck out about his clubs were, well, it was about 3 or 4 things. Well, 2 of the particular things that stuck out was, you can't come in with your own drugs, but you could buy some drugs up in here if you want to. See, legally, he can't let you come up in the club with the drugs. But if you in the club and somebody sell you some drugs, but that's a whole other story, officer. Judge. So he thought. So that was one thing that stuck out. You could get higher than giraffe pussy at any of his clubs, like Factory. Second thing that stuck out was he had something unique that New York City had never seen before, which was co-ed bathrooms. Now, they had bathhouses and stuff like that, and those were co-ed. But we're talking about co-ed bathrooms in regular clubs. These weren't specialty clubs. Anybody could go to these clubs. You know what I'm saying? Now, they had a preference. This is back when they used to have tight lines, and they still do. A lot of clubs still have these lines, and restaurants and stuff like that when they have the grand openings. But this is when they used to have real lines. Like, back in them days, if I wasn't with Bad Boy, I wouldn't have gotten to half of them clubs when the scenes were, like, thriving. You understand what I'm saying? So, they had co-ed bathrooms. Now, I want y'all to sit in on this for me. And anybody from New York, go ask Gene Dill. He know. He was in the scene back then. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even need him to back me, but anybody that was back in the early 2000s remembers what I'm talking about here. So you would go up in the bathroom of Limelight, Speed, the Tunnel, and that. And it wasn't nothing to see a chick getting bent over by your favorite rapper, by your favorite drug dealer, by your favorite bottle boy, by your favorite nigga in VIP. You think I'm lying to you? And they would do it in front of everybody. See, this was co-ed bathroom, so there was people coming in and out of the bathroom. They would do it in front of anybody. I went to the bathroom several times and seen chicks giving it up. All throat. All throat. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk. I'm telling you the truth here. You want to hear the truth? I'm telling you the truth. These people, they always say they want to hear the truth. Okay, I was one of them motherfuckers that was around. This was my life experience. So if you're not listening to me versus listening to one of these conspiracy theorists, maybe there's something wrong with you. Because a lot of y'all listen to a bulk of these conversations from people that wasn't around in the music industry, and more specifically wasn't around Puff. I'm telling y'all what we saw with our own 2 eyes, and you're not listening. Now, Peter Gatian, he was a white Canadian man, but he owned a string of hip-hop clubs. And later on, what happened was, could y'all please hit that like button? It's over 120 people in here. 7 likes. Double tap the screen and hit the like button. What's the problem? I must have that strange lady. She must be sharing me again to her friends. I got 3 strange women that be following me and shit. They be sharing me to their friends, and then their friends don't want to hit the like button. I'm thinking I'm bugging. Nah, that's just a whole crowd is over here. Nobody's donating. Nah, that's just their whole crowd's over here. Ain't that wild? Like, it's like a lot of black American women online on this app, this particular app, not all of them, because there's some great ones out there, but a lot of them are turned into domestic terrorists. And I think that's how they should be charged with some of the things that they do. You know, some of the things you do under the Constitution of the law and cyber law in particular, it's against the law. You know, a lot of little things y'all do. Yeah, I don't know if y'all knew that. I looked up one thing. I said, what is it to slander somebody's name in petition so people won't mess with? Do you know that's a form of what do you call it? That slander is a form of bullying. That's what they call it. Online bullying. I didn't know that. See, it's different if I say something about you and it's a truth, but it's something else if I say something about you and it's a lie. And that slander from the bullying, which is an act that's written in cyber law, can be taken into facilitation for civil, excuse me. And I said, that's interesting. But don't worry about that. Anyway, let me make sure I surmise this because I just said there's 140 people in here and I got 11 likes. Don't worry about it. Anyway, welcome. Long story short here, these clubs, Limelight, Speed, Tunnel, you go up in there, you can see somebody sniffing blow. You can see somebody bent over a toilet or whatever. And that's just what it was. That was the movement. Like, that's what people were doing. And the times that I've seen people get caught doing stuff like that, and in Miami. Miami's got a new beach over there. People be fucking and sucking and passing all kinds of STIs and Ds and Cs and Qs and P over that motherfucker. They don't never have that conversation. You understand what I'm saying? There's a new beach on South Beach. I don't know if y'all knew this or not. I shouldn't even be telling y'all this. But there's a new beach in South Beach, and trust me when I tell you, like, that beach stay open all night. Even if you say it's closed, that beach stay open all night on Ocean Drive. If you know what I mean. I didn't slept on that beach before. Passed out. You know what I'm saying? Should have been robbed and everything else. I had 2 or 3 of my homies with me, so it ain't nothing happened. We had some bras with us and shit, but yeah, it should go down. It should go down. What's going on, B? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And listen here, deputy. Man, that interview hit right. Yeah. I finally got a chance to watch the whole thing yesterday, and that hit right. That hit right. And no cap, that hit right. I like that. I like the questions that were asked. I like the answers you gave. Everything. I don't even want to let niggas know you in here. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't, you family. But deputy, appreciate that. That was one of the best ones they had, and I'm gonna continue to push that motherfucker too. Please believe that. Anyway, Limelight, Speed, the Tunnel, all these clubs were owned by Peter Gatien, right? Peter Gatien, believe it or not, he got deported ultimately for drug dealing around the club. That's what they say. I don't know. That's what they say. It might have just been INS. It was like, yo, get the nigga fuck out of here. You're making too much money. He just making fucking out of here. You're making too much money. There was some cops up in here the other night over there, Speed, and they wasn't patrolling. They was in here talking to the girls coming out the co-ed bathroom. Son of a bitch. But yeah, I could say years after years after years after years up in Peter Gatien's club, whether it been Speed, Tunnel, Limelight, Exit, we've been in all of them. You understand what I'm saying? Puff ain't go to no cheap shit. That's one thing I will say. I went into spots. We went to this one spot called Compound. That's what it was. Out in Atlanta. They were charging motherfuckers $1,500 at the door. And everybody pulled out. That was the first time I seen Akon. Akon pulled up in a little spider joint out the Alfa Romero. Everybody pulling up in Lambos, Porsche, they coming out there like that. You know what I'm saying? New York City tri-state, mom. I don't know who you are, and that's crazy to be asking people, where are you? What kind of question is that? Let me get you the fuck up out of here. I don't trust nobody like you, nigga. Ask me, where are you? Bitch, I don't know you. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I'll be like that. Hey, who sent you over here? Where are you? That wasn't going nowhere good. You understand what I'm saying? That wasn't going nowhere good. Anyway. These clubs, they used to have girls up in them. The girls would be up in there, and like I like to say, and I grabbed this from Corey Holcomb, busting down. That's the best way to describe. The girls would be busting down. They'd be busting down voluntarily because it was a co-ed bathroom. And they was doing the same thing in Miami. They was doing the same thing in Atlanta. They was doing the same thing out in Cali. And they was damn sure doing the same thing out in Houston. Can I get a witness to anybody? King of Diamonds, which most of y'all revere from being in Miami, the big one is in fucking Texas. Believe it or not, the real one. That's only because the one down in Miami ain't open no more. See, what it really is a lot of y'all motherfuckers ain't familiar with club culture when it was at its peak. A lot of y'all ain't familiar with hip hop culture when it was at its peak because a lot of y'all wasn't old enough. So if we're talking about like with Puff, with some of this stuff that happened or whatever, we're talking about the years maybe highlighted 2002 up into 2011, right? So we take that little skew right there. We'll say 2002 to 2012. Let's make it an even 10, right? We take that little skew of 10 years or whatever. At the latter part of it, 2002, many of you was just, if you're 25 now, you understand what I'm saying, 2 or 3 years old. I was partying at this time. But these are the lead investigators on the Diddy trial. A kid that was 4 years old when this stuff was going on. Are you getting what I'm going in? So while you were in diapers, basically, still, a lot of us were up in these clubs and we were partying. We weren't partaking in this behavior, but a lot of people were. And a lot of them were rappers. A lot of them were rappers, entourage shit. You know how many times I got vajay thrown at me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm a good looking nigga, so it ain't really hard for a chick to look at me. Like, honestly and truthfully, I would get vajay thrown at me left and right. Didn't matter what city I was in, because the chicks want to be associated with the fact that they can say, if you ever came back to that little small ass town or city, or if it was a major city, and you came back to it, they'd be like, girl, I don't want him no more. I already effed him. Like, chick, ask your mama. Shout out to Sling Johnson. Niggas know your mama. Ask your mama. A lot of y'all, that's what, if you about 25 right now, go in the living room and ask your mama. Niggas know your mama. If you about 20, go in the living room and ask your mama what she was doing back in 2000. This be like, yo, mama, what was you at 2001? Oh, shit. She was at Freaknik like this. Bust it down, hear it, tear it on the floor. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. That bitch was like that. Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Roll to the left. Then about 5 hours later, she was in the back of the bathroom like this. I ain't never did this before, James. 9 months later, here you come. You need to ask, niggas know your mama. Go ask your mama the story. All right, we tired of a lot of y'all niggas out here is calling niggas unk out of turn. Really, we big cousin. No, your mama was either a teen mother or your mama had you when she was young at Freaknik. Your mama had you and busted down with you at Mike Beach weekend. Your mama busted down the Memorial Day weekend. Your mama busted down the Greek Fest weekend. You understand what I'm saying? You need to talk to your mother. That's all I'm saying. Girls and boys. Anyway, you don't believe me? Hulu was getting ready to do a Freaknik documentary or some shit like that. Y'all remember this? Freaknik documentary. Hoes was threatening to sue. Out here making declarations online. There was a couple of chicks that made a whole series. So, but my name ain't Panisha. My name ain't Peaches no more. It's Keisha. Keisha Ray, PhD. Don't nobody call me Peaches no more. Y'all can't let this DVD, y'all can't let this documentary come out. They said, why Peaches? I mean, Keisha. Keisha said, because I work at the offices of John, Fitzgerald, Morgan, and Fritz. They ain't gonna understand. They ain't gonna understand why Peaches, Keisha was popping ass on camera. Go, see the gunny, let me see that Tootsie Roll. Niggas know your mama. Shout out to St. Johnson. Niggas know your mama. Sometimes you might just need to go talk to your mama for a bit and have a little powwow. Ask your mama, what was you doing back in 2001, 2002? Actually, 9 times out of 10, man, for some of y'all, ask your mama what she was doing, because some of y'all up to about the age of 10, that's when your mama was doing the most lucretious work. You understand what I'm saying? That's when your mama was doing all the most notorious work. All them years. If your mama about 40-something right now, that means her highlights of her years were around the time when Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim was at their peak. She had a lot of influence. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just got all off guard. Back to the clubs, because I have to explain that so people will understand we were at a different time period. You see? And so the energy was different, the music was different. The music we was coming off of was mostly love music, intermingled with even hardcore hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? Like meaning like the same time that Wu Tang was popping, Case and Jodeci was still popping. They was on their way out because of their career length, not because of their music, because of their career length. Make no mistake about it. Excuse me. They broke up, separated, and came together as Casey and JoJo and made even more money. So you understand what I'm saying? They were able to coexist because you had that combination of hardcore street and that combination of softcore R&B, if you want to say, but men can relate to it. That's why you can see the hardest thug. I'm trying to show y'all the tempo so y'all understand. This is the best way I can explain what the tempo was. It was more equilibrium. Then I'm gonna give you an example how it's not an equilibrium anymore, and how this is all concentrated not only in what we're talking about with Puff. So I'm gonna go back to that, but also what we're talking about as a whole, as a culture. Now listen to what I'm saying, and this will all make sense. If you're talking about any time between the time of 98, 99, 2000, maybe all the way up into 2006 or 7, right? You always had these examples. Lauryn Hill, Maya, all these girls were singing about love. Even though they were women, they were singing about love and being in love with a man. And they were talking about a particular type of man. They wanted a rough man, but a soft man, but a rough man, but a nigga that'll shoot, but a nigga that'll go to church on Sunday, that type of shit. Now, you fast forward, right? You fast forward just a little bit in the inception of that. And then you start getting the Wu-Tang Clan and all these gangster rappers or whatever and all that. But even in their music, when you hear NWA, when you hear Snoop's first album, he sampled off of people that were singing about love, George Clinton, all those people, because they were singing about love in their songs. They were singing about black unity and all this. One nation under a groove, one nation. They were talking about uniformly uniting with everybody that believed in what they believed in. It didn't matter if you were black, white, polka dot, or whatever, but black empowerment was first. You understand this? Now, even though you had hip hop music that was gangster or whatever, you also had a different type of hip hop that at one point was superseding the gangster hip hop, which was kind of like the native tongue type of sound or whatever. This is what all the artists that are coming in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005 are releasing projects. This is what they're coming off of. This is what they're brought up on. This is what they listen to. This is what they embrace. And this is what they had in coexistence with each other when they were going to the parties, when they were going to basement parties, apartment parties, when they were going to the clubs, when they were going anywhere. They heard a combination of both of these. Even after the club, somebody would be outside pumping some Jodeci, and it was cool because niggas was listening to Jodeci. You understand what I'm saying? Them niggas was cool. They was R&B thugs. You know what I mean? And niggas accepted that. You understand? You fast forward now, and you don't have that same equilibrium. Most of the girls that are they're singing songs about, no offense, some type of sexual thrill, getting over on men, fucking girl, you don't need him, no man's perfect for you. You know what I'm saying? You so perfect that God put you here on earth for nobody to have you except for you. Like very narcissistic, and it's nothing about wanting a man. In fact, I say a lot of this music promotes lesbianism and wanting to be with a woman more than it does wanting to be with a man when it comes to the women. When I look at Billie Eilish, when I look at Katy Perry at one time had a song, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Well, what the fuck does that promote, bitch? You know, they still got a problem with her over that song, you know. Shut up, Daph. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say it. We'll save that one. Somebody hit the like button on that one. I'm just saying. But what do I know, right? What do I know? Mm-mm. I will say this much. Whoever the fuck is that company that working for the FBI, whoever where they working for, whoever that little company is they working for, they got them little props that they put up in the sky and shit and make motherfuckers feel like they floating over the audience or whatever. Get away from them motherfuckers right there, Beyonce. Get the fuck away from them motherfuckers right there, Katy Perry. Because ain't y'all noticed something? Katy Perry had 2 incidents with the motherfuckers. Same company. There's only like 2 companies that provide those props. You don't know what I'm talking about? They had Katy Perry. I think Beyonce was, if I remember right, she was on it. I put both of the videos up. I just can't find. Matter of fact, I'll go find them in a second. Beyonce was the first one, I think. And she was riding on a car or something like that for the Cowboy Carter tour. And the prop that she was riding on, which was a rather small prop, and I'm going to give you an example of the scale in a minute so you understand what I'm talking about. It was a very small prop. And the prop seemed to go off center. And I'm pretty sure they got a harness on her too, being that she's that far up. But I think she just doesn't want to fall into the harness. And I think she was more scared than anything. But Beyonce made them pull her down off that shit. Then Katy Perry, she was riding, I think it was a unicorn or something like that, or whatever it was, some type of animal or something like that. She had concocted her imagination. And I put that video up, and the same thing. She almost toppled and fall, you know. And it was, if I'm correct, and I'm gonna say I insistently believe, but I'm not sure. But I think it was the same company. She had another incident with it might be the same company or another company, but this company that provides these props where the artists are flying over top of the audience. I'm just, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you ain't got to get rid of them, but sometimes, just in case you forgot. Yeah, everybody else still doing that shit. Anyway, just to give you a comparison here, if you think I'm fucking stupid. Kanye West had a whole fucking stage suspended in air. Not one time, and he took this shit from state to state. Not one time did that stage rattle. Not one time did that stage look like it was going to fall on the ground and fall over top of the audience. Not one time did that whole entire stage that was suspended in mid fucking air. Not one time when Kanye was on that shit did it look like it was going to fall or Kanye was going to fall. Can we all agree with that? So if they got a whole fucking stage that they prepare for Kanye, and Kanye doesn't fall, doesn't wobble, doesn't seem like he's at duress or anything else, how come the fuck Katy Perry and fucking Beyonce on these smaller in scale props seem like they're going to fall off and die? And I'm not talking about exaggerated fall. I'm talking about for real. They were about to fall off. And I'll show you the videos here so you can understand what I'm talking about, because I posted both of them up. And then I'll go back to, this whole Diddy thing or whatever, if y'all want to hear about the last little bit of that, because I'm about to head out. I got shit to do. I wasn't even meaning to go live with y'all now, but I said, let me, come in here and show some love or whatever. Even though people don't show me love, I always end up showing love a lot of time. But it's all good, you know what I'm saying? It's going to come back to me one day. I ain't worried about it. Right now, like Lil Bootsy said, it's the worst time in time to try to be a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is the worst time in history to try to be a real nigga. I'm trying to tell you, B, on my mom's. It's all good, though. Yeah, here we go. So I put this up just a few minutes ago, and I want y'all to see this.
How about the thing you love the most? Katy Perry is confirmed.
Oh, shit, my fault, guys. My fault.
How about the thing you love the most? Katy Perry is confirmed.
Katy Perry is confirmed.
And here we go, right here. And you'll see it from another angle in a second here. It's good, 2 seconds. Scared than a motherfucker. Scared than a motherfucker. Now let me show you something else. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Hold on. They about to get me flagged with that shit. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, we ain't playing that bitch's music now. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something real quick, y'all. Let me do something real quick. Just give me a second. Let me do something. I had realized I was like, oh, hold up. Hold up. We ain't playing anybody's music. There we go. I just turned the volume down. But as you can see right here, I can just narrate a little bit. You'll see the same thing happen here. You're going to see Beyonce, now she's suspended. And what they ultimately do is they end up lowering her down because of pure simple fact. She shakes in the thing. She says, okay, let me down. I know what the fuck I be talking about. Now, I want to show you something in scale just for comparison. Let me show you what I mean. Just for comparisons. This is the size of Kanye West's stage that he has suspended above the audience, as you can see. And you see how big that is in comparison. Pause. Do you see how large scale that is in comparison? And you see Kanye's not falling off of it or nothing else. See, I'll give you another view so you can see a little bit closer. I did that one first so you could just see in jail. Right here, you can see somebody climbing up the same joint. You see that? And Kanye didn't fall or nothing else. How Omar say? Isn't that suspicious? He's trying to own them bitches, nigga. You better pay attention. Anyway, listen, anyway, long story short, you catch it. Anyway, back to Puff. I heard niggas the other day. They say, yo, I want to hit the garden when I get out. Why can't he? Why can't he? I even heard white commentators saying the same thing. They said if he comes out, it doesn't matter if people like him or don't like him. Curiosity killed the cat. And every last one of them's going to show up at that concert, whether they like him or don't like him. Oh, they did the same thing when Tupac came on. Fuck that damn Tupac. He done sexually assaulted a woman. Y'all remember that? I remember that. He done sexually assaulted a woman. I was a youngin'. I think I was like in 9th, 10th grade or something like. Nah, I wasn't even 9th, 10th grade. I think I was like 8th grade. But I remember that. And Tupac went to jail. They said he sexually assaulted somebody. See, a lot of people don't bring this up in the conversation. That's why I brought it up. And Tupac, by the mind you, is originally from Harlem. You heard? So I brought this up for this point. Tupac came out and sold more albums than he did previously when he was in jail. Matter of fact, he was a superstar after that. Now I'm not making no qualms about what happened to the girls or girl or whatever may have you. The point is, Tupac was large after that. Who's gonna argue with that? When Tupac got shot, he was larger each time, up until the time he passed away. A lot of people don't like to hear stuff like that. That's why you saw a couple people just jump out because they can't keep up with the conversation. That's the people that they only deal with base information. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's got to sound familiar to them. Shit I'm talking about don't sound familiar to them because they're unprivy to it because they've never been around music industry shit. My point is, for those that have and know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about is the truth here. I'm not a brown nose. I'm not here for that. You know. I very well think he could sell out a concert if he came back and he hit the Garden. I very well do think so. I think a lot of people in New York are scared to say something. A lot of people in New York just didn't have the time to be down at the courthouse like that. A lot of people in New York, from what people you could see that are interviewed, that were outside that circumference of the courtroom. You understand what I'm saying? In that little area down there, they probably come to the same conclusion. So do I think Puff could sell out the Garden? I think he could sell out at least 6 shows. I watched the Bad Boy reunion tour. That shit was down there at the what was it called? Down there in Brooklyn. I forgot what the heck name of it is. It'll come to my mind in a minute. I ain't said it in so long. But They was down there in Brooklyn. They sold that show out. It was 3 shows that weekend, I remember. And they didn't even have an extra ticket to give me. I was mad as a motherfucker too. It's like, yo, if you would have came, nigga Chrome, yo, if you would have came Friday, I had you. Happy birthday to you, fucking Honduran. Anyway, love that kid. Yeah, I think he could sell it out. I think he could. I think he could do it. I think he could do it. I think you're gonna need some assistance. Depends on who want to fuck with you. Depends on who you want to fuck with. You know, I think Puff shouldn't fuck with a lot of people in the music industry when he comes home. I think you need to take a keen eye at who was sticking beside you and who wasn't. And those should be the most paramount people that you keep the conversation with. Look at the people that showed up at the courthouse. You know, take that for example. I know I ain't talking my own horn. When I was down that motherfucker, and it's on this page. I spent my own money. I'm in the financial hole from spending it on that shit because so many people hated me for being one of the first motherfuckers down. I was there for the first arraignment. That's another thing I'm glad Mark Agnifio talked about today. Is he said 5 arraignments. I said, yeah, I told my crowd it was 5. So I came in, no, it wasn't. It was only 3. I said, no, it was 5 bail hearings now. 5 of them, you know. And so I was down there first bail hearing, second bail hearing, third bail hearing, fourth bail hearing, which was another hearing on top of a hearing. Down there for the jury selection, I was there for the first week and a half until I got to that little squashel with that crazy lady down there that everybody became known as being crazy. Like I said initially, don't get mad at me because I peeped it first. So I disappeared. Shout out to Myron Gaines for putting out the truth from Fresh and Fit. That video got under 520,000 views on it. Just go to his page, Myron Gaines. Click videos. You got to scroll down a little bit, but you'll see her in the title. It's a dark-skinned black girl. She was cussing this man out for no reason, calling him all kinds of names or whatever, and talking about black American women. And come to find out this woman is African. This is an African woman. You know what I'm saying? What she was trying to joke Myron on was culture. She was like, you're a Somali. Nobody wants to be a Somali in Africa. I was like, yo, why would you even say some shit like that? This is what this woman said to him. I heard her with my own 2 ears. So it was crazy. I skipped that, continued on down there, whatever. So I was there for the whole, I skipped 2 weeks. I didn't get to see Don Richard. I didn't want to see Don. Because the last time I saw Dawn and Kalina was at fucking Good Morning America at Central Park. That was the last time I saw them. Prior to that, we were with them, was it Arizona? It was either in Arizona or Miami, one of the two. I think it was Arizona with them. And that was it. I never saw them again. I never saw either one of them again. They wasn't very friendly, either one of them. But I never saw either one of them again. And so, unlike the other artists, like another one that was like that, Carl Thomas. We never saw Carl Thomas again. I never saw Carl Thomas. I haven't seen Carl Thomas in person since like 2000 and I don't know, fucking 9 or some shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some of the artists they're gone. Donnie Klang, who was the other nigga, Kane from Queens, the rapper, the white rapper kid, Dream. We never saw them again. I only met them once, and I only met 2 of them. And it was in passing. They were coming into the office, I think, and that was it. And this was back over at BMG days. That was it. That was it. I can definitely say that was it. I'm trying to think if there was any other artists, and there are a few, but those are the ones that really come to mind. Donnie Klang, Dream, Kane. There was this other girl, Michelle. I actually ended up befriending her. He was going to sign her, and I forgot what happened with her. But she always had an attitude after that. I had talked to her a couple of times, and she was a little gone after that. I don't know. Some people, they take, like me, I've been writing music left and right, right? I know it's going off a little track, but I've been writing music left and right. I even wrote some rhymes, which was crazy the other day. I was like, yo, this is crazy. You never stop. If you're a true musician, you don't stop. Like, you don't let nobody. I watched the Killer Mike, even though they capped on him and arrested him at the end of the service. I watched Killer Mike at 40, 48, 49 years old win a motherfucking Grammy for Album of the Year. You understand what I'm saying? So that age cap shit on rap music, that's some shit that old now. You know what I mean? If you make good music, you make good music. Um, just like any other genre. I think Puff could come out and do it. I think Puff even teetering towards 60 ain't gonna stop him. The definition of 55 and 60, we're not in the wagon trail days anymore. And I'm not saying people can't get sick and shit like that, but I'm just saying people have a lot more stamina. Like they were even talking about that in court. It was like, this man had incredible stamina to be 50 something years old or whatever, whatever. And it was the things he had access to. You know what I'm saying? You have access to good health care, good things. A lot of people like to talk about that IV drip shit. I'm like, that's a thing in New York. Like that's a thing in California as well. Like the only people that are not privy to are the people that have never indulged in that type of lifestyle, so they don't know. I'm not saying everything inclusive in that lifestyle is that, but there's certain things you won't be privy to, and once it comes up in conversation, it'll be beknownst to the people around you that you don't know either. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I be saying about a lot of these fakers that be online. I'd be like, you best to come off and be yourself instead of these pretend personalities you put up, because nobody likes that shit. But except for goofies. Anyway, long story short, goofies like that shit. You know, hey everybody, this is Avatar, and oh my god, I'm like, oh, anybody that aligns with that type of shit, they corny, bro. They're not real. They're not real at all. They gonna show you they're not real ultimately. Puff could come back, and I think he'll be embraced, and I think he'll sell albums, and I think people are gonna love it. And you know, we're gonna see what rocks out. But one thing at the end of the day with the story, there was only certain niggas that were down there. And I'm telling you, Puff, when you come home, don't fuck with some of these niggas, B. Remember G Dep was down there. Remember Yayo came down there. Remember Professional, myself, came down there. You know what I'm saying? Remember Lil BBE, he was down there. Of course you remember the homie. He was sitting right beside you in court. Remember your sister was there. Some of these niggas didn't even know who Keisha was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You could do it. And I know some of us are willing to help you do it. Because this is about our legacy now. This is about my story. I'm not going to tell my kids. Like, I don't give a fuck about you if you post stuff or not. It's my fucking story. And I'm not necessarily, it's my story for any motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know what? I want you to sacrifice your life because I don't agree with it. So do it. That sounds like madness. And that's basically what you're telling people to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, you've been making fucking hot dogs and hamburgers your whole fucking life, right? And then all of a sudden, the manager at your hot dog and hamburger spot passes away. I ain't supposed to tell you the morning after your hot dog manager? No, see, that's just clear, simply just fucking fucked up. You made hot dogs and hamburgers there all your life. Now, who am I to come in between that and your boss? So you get what I'm saying? It's funny how people, they try to like use communism and Marxism to engage in these arguments. It's very crazy. It's very crazy to be like, a lot of people are using this tribalistic kind of like communism type shit now, where they're like, if you don't agree with us, what we're going to do, we're going to destroy your reputation online. So I've had motherfuckers because of my placement. And now I've said from the get-go, I've never faded away from what I said. I said, yo, if the niggas are guilty of some extreme shit, my nigga, I'm not fucking with it. I don't give a fuck how long we was around you. I got niggas in the street that just won't understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at that point where I have to part ways. But even if he's found guilty, it gotta be some extreme shit. Like this nigga was running 20 hookers. That's what I could tell. He was running 20 hookers. You know what I'm saying? Kind of find out this nigga ain't had number of male prostitutes that were coming over to bang his girlfriend. So what? And I heard the bitch was like this with 2 joints. That from what one of the strippers said. One of the strippers said, he said it on vlog. He was like, yo, I seen Shorty. Shorty had 2 joints in her hand, mine and another nigga's. I was like, oh shit, she was wildin'. Bill, sorry for canceling of $30 million. Feel sorry for man. I know some niggas that'll rob Cassie right now. Fuck out of here. I know some niggas that'll rob Cassie ass right now, nigga. Fuck out of here. Don't catch Cassie coming out that far. Yo, bitch, get down. Don't move. And count to 100. And hand me them keys. $30 million, nigga. I know some nigga. I bet you Cassie won't come through the hood. Niggas will lay Cassie the fuck down for $30 million, nigga, and put that bitch in the front trunk and drive her right to the bank. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I would do it, but I'm just saying that stakes are high like that. You know what I mean? You just don't go out and tell niggas, hey, I got $30 million and then start making posts this shit on social media. The wolves is going to come out. I'm trying to tell you. You don't go, listen, you should have stayed offline for about like 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? Now you trying to make posts. I know what Cassie trying to do. She made a post last night or whatever. Whoop-de-doo. I'm coming out of postpartum depression. Everybody feels sorry for me again. I'm Kathy. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you in this fashion. I feel sorry for you that you got beat in that hotel video. I feel sorry for you if you got beat any time before that. Puff, you's wrong, motherfucker, for that. It is what it is. All right? But when I started hearing stories that you was yanking off two dudes at the same time that you had called and set up and the Puff was there, I started getting alluded to the fact this bitch was lying a little bit, son. Well, a whole fucking bunch, all right? You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't no way you're going to sit there and gleefully be stroking two joints. You understand what I'm saying? The niggas can tell the stories about you jerking their joints and everything else you do. These strippers are making you look like, look, Alex, it's got to be the $30 million, my nigga. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Any nigga that had money and pride would have been like, you nasty bitch, and walk the fuck off. I'll see you in court, bitch. You better watch for that shit. That's what you better watch for. You gonna fuck around and get Kevin Federline. Do you know what that means? Huh? Listen, Britney Spears. Everybody think Britney Spears fucked up because of her parents. Britney Spears fucked up because Britney Spears was fucking with this nigga named Kevin Federline. Had a baby, got married to this nigga. Kevin Federline took this bitch to motherfucking court and won alimony from this hoe and child support. And Britney been paying him for the past 18 years. Ask Britney. She gonna tell you that's why it really fucked up right there. You imagine you got a side baby, because basically this baby's a side baby at this point. You got a side baby, and you a woman, and you paying your ex-husband or ex-man for the side baby. That'll drive a bitch crazy right there. This ain't supposed to be like this. That might happen to Cassie. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, man. Cassie from here in Connecticut, where I live at. All right, that's first of all. Second of all, the town that she used to live in, I know very fucking well, and it knows me very fucking well. And shout out to NL. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't gonna put too much on the bowl because certain niggas come out there. I know y'all get down. Don't go out there fucking with them boys. Them boys will lay you the fuck down. Trust me. Don't go out there fucking with them boys. Them boys will lay you the fuck down. I ain't exaggerating or nothing. I know. I done been in situations out there where I knew the nigga that shot the nigga and the nigga that died. For real. And that's a God honest truth multiple times. Some of these little small towns in America, you be thinking all this shit is sweet and all that shit or whatever. A lot of these small towns in America is fucking war zones. That's one of them. That's one of them. Always some shit down there happening. So anyway, niggas in NL, they know. I had niggas pull up in here from NL, tell niggas, yo, that's my man's right there. Like, I don't be lying to niggas. That's not my thing. I ain't never been my thing. I don't come from niggas like that. Like, be lying on niggas. Because you tell lies and shit like that, you be fake. And then niggas find out, like now niggas, you lie to niggas and niggas find it out. It's nothing. But, like, time I come from, you lie to niggas and niggas find out about it. They don't fuck with you no more. That's the most scariest shit right there. I surmise a lot of the stuff I say on here for people that just now tuning in. Y'all like, oh my God, you didn't play any videos and all that. I have to do it like this because a lot of people is listening to me. I know I got Nancy Grace listening, a couple other people listening, you know what I'm saying? And so I surmise a lot of things I say because, it might be detrimental. But I will say this, Judge Samarinian, I will hope that you do the right thing here. I'm just asking as a request. You do the right thing here as far as your decisioning. or whatever. I know you can't speak the way that I speak plainly, but let me just put it in perspective. A lot of these girls, as you can clearly see, were hoes. And they were hoes that was down to get chose for the dough. Okay? And this has been going on for a long time, including your country of origin. And so, as it may be, all the way back to the days of Mary Magdalene, prostitution has ran smuck across our human timeline. Human timeline. Mary Magdalene was one of the most highest revolved around Jesus in the end. Prostitution has always been here, my friend. And that's one thing we cannot escape, especially you are a believing Christian man, as I suggest you are, because you had to take an oath on the Bible. So in Christianity, Mary Magdalene, who was one of the most revered amongst Jesus, was the prostitute. She wasn't just a prostitute, she was a head prostitute. See, I heard a lot of people when I say that. So we don't want to make it look like all prostitutes are bad. But none of them prostitutes were male prostitutes that were around Jesus, and that's the part we got to get at. That's the part we got to get at. So, Mark, I want to say to you, great job. We're going to see what happens here. Judge Samarinian, these same men that you convicted Puff for, because a lot of people won't highlight that, you convicted him for male prostitutes. Male prostitutes. Male prostitutes. And be it as it must, these same male prostitutes can't be that harm because they going over here, over there, over here, over there. That'll be 2,000, that'll be 3,000, that'll be 4,000. Let me get that. I could do that same shit right now. I don't even tell y'all half the shit that I could be telling you on this motherfucker because I don't choose to get down like that. But if I would, I'd be collecting that same money. So these men are now, after the trial, collecting a lot of money doing these interviews here online. These motherfuckers with their followers and, support us. It'd be funny as hell. People be in here be like, well, everybody ain't got it like that right now. Then you go over to somebody else's podcast after yours is done, see a nigga give a bitch $100. Ain't that crazy? Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even after I get off this, I won't have any support. That's just the way it goes with me. I ain't worried about that shit. You know what I'm saying? I already seen that. Like, I'm like, yo, if a group of people will turn on you that quick, nigga, don't ever get in line with them. Don't ever get in line with them niggas. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get up. I got a piece up on out of here. Linda, what's going on? Hey, Sparkle, what's going on? I'm about to get up on out of here. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna get up on out of here, man. I don't be sitting here too long. I've been here for about an hour. Ain't nobody just, showing any love really, really like that financially. So I can't do these like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So y'all check out my uploads and everything like that. That's why I'll be like, for my people that like Sparkle and all y'all, that's why I'll be like different now when I be blogging. And I really don't go into details and nothing like that or whatever like that no more. I just give the skim of it because it's like the people that are coming to check me, these are people that are haters and not pressing the like button. They're doing that on purpose so they can slow down the amount of people that come in. They know if they hit that like button, more people will come in. So they won't hit the like button on purpose so more people will come in. They won't share it. They just sit here and listen to what you got to say like weirdos. And then on top of that, they're not donating a dime. You understand what I'm saying? But you go over to some chick's podcast, it's like, Lord Jesus Christ, this is a mess. Lord Jesus. They papering them bitches up. You understand what I'm saying? But when it comes to me, they be like, well, everybody ain't got it like that. But let me give you $2. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a $2 trick, nigga. Suck a dick. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm good with all that shit. So I stopped that trying to appeal to the people shit and all that shit. I talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. Then I be the fuck out.